Ever find yourself staring out at the horizon and wondering just how big this planet really is? I mean, we all learn about the Earth being round in school, but how did anyone even figure that out in the first place?
Well, it's a question that captivated thinkers for centuries.
Yeah.
And one of the most elegant solutions came from a brilliant mind named Eratosthenes way back in ancient Greece.
Okay, so we're talking ancient Greece, a time when folks thought Zeus hurled lightning bolts, right? What made Eratosthenes' method so special?
Imagine a time when maps were more like uh, rough sketches and even basic geography was a complete mystery. What's fascinating about Eratosthenes is that he didn't need fancy technology or space telescopes. He used shadows, geometry, and a healthy dose of curiosity to measure the Earth's circumference with surprising accuracy.
Hold on, shadows and geometry to measure the entire planet. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It all started with a simple observation. Eratosthenes read a report about a well in Syene, which today is known as Aswan in Egypt.
Hmm.
This wasn't just any, well, on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the sunlight would reach the very bottom, meaning the sun was directly overhead.
So the sun was perfectly aligned with a cosmic laser beam.
Precisely. But here's the twist. Eratosthenes realized that at that exact same moment in Alexandria, a city north of Syene, a vertical stick would actually cast a shadow.
Wait, so if the sun was directly overhead in Syene, shouldn't it be the same in Alexandria? Was this some ancient Egyptian magic trick gone wrong or something?
Not magic, just good old-fashioned science. The difference in shadows meant only one thing. The Earth's surface couldn't be flat. If it were, the sun's rays would hit both locations at the same angle. But since the Earth is curved, the angle changes slightly as you move north or south.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the genius here. The Earth's curve created a tiny difference in the angle of the shadows, and that's what tipped Eratosthenes off.
Exactly. That small discrepancy was all he needed to unlock a huge discovery. He imagined two lines extending from the center of the Earth, one through that well in Syene and the other through Alexandria, where the stick was casting a shadow.
Now, I'm no geometry whiz or anything, but I'm getting that those two lines, they'd create an angle, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
And that angle was the key to Eratosthenes' calculations. He knew the distance between Alexandria and Syene, and he was able to measure the angle of the shadow cast by that stick in Alexandria.
Okay.
With those two pieces of information, he could then extrapolate to figure out the circumference of the entire Earth.
Wow. So he essentially scaled up those measurements to encompass the whole planet. That's some seriously impressive thinking, especially for back then.
It's mind-boggling. And he used a unit of measurement called a stadia. And while there's some debate over the exact length of a stadia, his calculations were astonishingly close to the actual circumference of the Earth.
So what you're saying is, with a stick, some sunshine, and a knack for geometry, Eratosthenes basically said, hold my papyrus, I'm about to measure the Earth.
And measure it? He did. But, this wasn't just about the math. Think about the impact of this discovery. Before Eratosthenes, the Earth seemed impossibly vast, an endless unknown. His calculations, they transformed our understanding of the planet.
It's like that aha moment when you realize the supposedly haunted house down the street is just a regular house and suddenly it's not so scary anymore.
That's a great way to put it. By proving the Earth's size was finite, Eratosthenes made the world feel smaller, more knowable. In his book Cosmos, Carl Sagan beautifully describes Earth as a pale blue dot, a small world.
And that shift in perspective from impossibly vast to a small world, that must have had a huge impact on, exploration, right? Suddenly, circumnavigating the globe doesn't seem quite as daunting.
Precisely. Take Columbus, for example. He was aware of Eratosthenes' calculations, but he underestimated the Earth's size. He thought he could just sail west to reach India. But, instead, he bumped into the Americas.
Wow. So even a miscalculation based on Eratosthenes' work led to one of the biggest geographical discoveries in history.
It goes to show how influential this knowledge was. Eratosthenes' work didn't just change how we saw the Earth. It gave explorers the confidence to set sail and discover new lands. Even today, that legacy lives on. Think about how both ancient sailors and modern spacecraft rely on the stars for navigation.
There's something poetic about that, how understanding our place on this small world allows us to navigate the vastness of space.
And that connection from measuring the Earth with shadows to navigating by the stars is a deep dive for another time. What's important to remember is how one seemingly simple observation that the sun hit differently in two places completely changed our understanding of the planet.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the biggest discoveries, they come from the simplest questions, like why is there a shadow here but not over there.
Absolutely. And, Eratosthenes' story, it reminds us that it's not just about asking those right questions, but also about, like, using the right tools to find the answers. He drew upon geometry, a field often considered uh, purely abstract in his time, to make a real-world discovery of incredible scale.
So it's not just about having a hammer and seeing every problem as a nail. It's about having a whole toolbox full of different skills and approaches.
Precisely. Imagine the possibilities if we applied that same, cross-disciplinary thinking to today's challenges. What if we looked at climate change through the lens of music? Or urban planning through the principles of dance?
Now, those are some out there ideas, but that's the beauty of Eratosthenes' legacy, right? He
Right.
challenges us to think beyond the obvious, to kind of push the boundaries of what we think we know.
He reminds us that the world is full of mysteries, just waiting for a curious mind to unravel them. And who knows, maybe you, our listener, will be the one to make the next big discovery.
So the next time you're staring up at the stars, feeling small and insignificant, remember Eratosthenes. Remember that even a seemingly simple observation, fueled by curiosity and a bit of cleverness, can change the way we see the entire world.
And who knows, maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to measure the next immeasurable thing.
I like that. And that wraps up another deep dive into the past, and hopefully it inspires some future exploration as well. Until next time, keep those minds curious and those questions coming.